doesn't make sense now. Shit just got real, things are getting intense now. I hear you talking about we a lot, boy, you speak French now.
Hey girl, and actually somebody checked me the other day and was like, do you know that not only women listen to the podcast, we need you to speak to the dudes too. So, hey girls and guys, welcome back to Grace Over Grind, the podcast where we turn your chaos into clarity. Today we're going to talk about something that everyone needs, which is curating your personal style. I want you to throw out everything that you know about style, everything that you thought you knew, and we're going to deep dive into what style means for you. Because oftentimes we're following trends, we're following Insta, we're following TikTok, and we are doing what we think we ought to do. Style is actually an internal spiritual transformation, and it is visual vocabulary of what is happening on the inside. I am going to teach you today how to pull that thing out from its root and show up authentically as you so that we can count your style as a form of art. So here's the first thing I want you to know. Style is actually a mirror. Yeah, a whole reflection of you. It, in fact, reflects your emotional patterning. So when we get up in the morning, we are feeling whatever it is that we're feeling, and we allow ourselves to feel it. And then you go, whether you do it the night before or the morning, and decide what it is that you're going to wear. That place of approach is actually motivated by your emotions. How many times have you gone into your closet and it's like, oh, you know what? I am feeling badassery today. And I'm gonna pull out this, and this. And slowly, you ease that thing back because all of the swirling negative talk came rushing in. And it was like, oh my God, who do I think I am to wear this? Oh my God, where am I going in this? Oh my God, what are the people going to say? Right? That is emotional patterning. Or you could approach your closet and it's like, okay, I'm gonna pull out the same thing every day. I am gonna rock the same thing every single day, which is totally okay. But I also want you to realize and be able to pull out and see the emotional patterning in that. So style is a mirror of what you are feeling on the inside. Not only what you're feeling on the inside, but also how you want to feel. Style can be used as a tool, as a power tool. So if it's, honey, I may be feeling drab, but I want to feel my absolute best. I want to conquer the world, and I want to show up, not how I'm feeling, but I want to show up like where I feel I'm going, right? You can use color therapy, you can use power pieces to pull yourself up and through to that desired place. And here's how you do it. The first thing we're gonna do is give ourselves permission. Yeah. Remember when we were little girls and guys, because they be checking me. Remember when we were children and we loved to ask mom to go play dress up, or if we could rock the cowboy boots or whatever it was, the tutu or the fairy dress. To first grade or second grade or all of those things. We're not children anymore, but also you can't let the inner little girl or little guy die. That same level of permission and audacity that you gave to that inner child, I want you to continue to give it to yourself through your style in other areas of your life, of course. But style is a very powerful way to give yourself permission, liberation, and it also encourages other people that they can do the same. So the first thing you got to do is, you know what? The reframing of the thought is, I am allowed, I give myself permission to show up however I'd like to today. Here go the other thing. Please, can we stop copying? We actually copy when we're confused. We copy when we don't have a sense of grounding and knowing of exactly what to do. That place only arises when you give yourself permission. That's it, right? Otherwise, we're going to be looking to the left and to the right for trends and this and that to know what is acceptable and right. And what I want to bring to you as an offer of thought is that it is not about trends. It's not about my personal style is mine. It is about being fully and authentically the version of you without apology is what it is. And so when you're in that place, you don't have to worry about copying at all. If you're like Sharice, I love a sort of an aesthetic And I'd like to journey there, right? I'm inspired and I'd like to get my style to a certain place. What you do tangibly is create yourself a mood board for inspiration, not for copying, right? Not to copy and paste, but just a color palette, silhouette aesthetic. How do you want to feel, right? And let the mood board be motivated by value, not monetary value, but your intrinsic values. Allow it to be motivated by your intrinsic values rather than only physical aesthetic. Your style should be vocabulary for how you want to feel, not just how you want to look. So, in order to feel great in where you are and where you want to be, honey, another thing that we've got to stop doing is copying. Now we talked about some emotional things because everything is led from the inside. Let's talk about some physical things. I want you to shop your closet first. Okay? So we think that it's all about purging, and it is. We're going to get there. But I want you to open your eyes and realize what you already have first. That often comes through organizing, that often comes through separating and spreading things out, right? I have had a smaller closet, much smaller than I have right now. And I cannot tell you how many things get lost in the crevice in the back part of that closet. You completely forget about it, and then you're out in the stores holding something up, and you're like, or scrolling online, and it's like, oh, I need this. You forgot about the same kind of thing you had bought. I said it, you had bought 5 years ago, and it's sitting in the back of your closet collecting dust. I want you to notice what you already have. And I want that to be your starting place. So shop the closet. Here are some rules. The things that you have not touched in over a year. Girl, yes, 1 year. If you have not thought about it, if you have not touched it in 365 days, chances are you will not think about it or touch it over the next 365 days. So we grounded this entire session around permission. I also want you to give yourself permission to purge. All right. So after you shop the closet, you notice what you have, review it frequently. Oh, this green dress. Oh, this white suit, or whatever it is, just so that you can keep a mental Rolodex of what it is that you have. I have even been known to keep a spreadsheet in my earlier day of the things that I have because I love to collect. I am an investment shopper. So I love to collect things from wherever I travel or wherever I go. That means sometimes I do a lot of collecting. And when you do a lot of collecting, if you're that kind of shopper, you could easily forget about what you have. So it's good to be able to keep a spreadsheet. Here's the other thing. If you have really, really nice things, you're going to need to be able to keep a spreadsheet or either a Dropbox for insurance purposes. So you take your pictures of the Jordans that you got or those nice boots that you got because, Lord forbid, anything happens, your renters or your homeowner insurance, they're going to ask what you have. And if you don't have any recollection of what you have, because if you like me and won't keep no receipts, child, what are receipts at? I don't know. They in the trash somewhere, whether it's the email trash or the physical trash, they're in the trash. But it's really, really good to be able to have record of those things for insurance purposes, hands down. So once you're seeing what you have and you notice that you're not using something for over a year, please give yourself permission to get rid of it. Purge it. What I personally love to do is either gift it to the team, my team or close friends, family, or Goodwill, right? Goodwill or any kind of consignment shop, women's shelter, someone who can make better use of it and it's treasure in their world. And it is 360 degrees because I also very much love thrift shopping. Your style has nothing to do with how much you spend. Okay? Once you actually give yourself permission that it all doesn't have to be brand new and fancy, you will unlock a whole new world of unlimited potential for yourself. Style is an expression, so it wouldn't matter where it came from, whether it came from Walmart, Goodwill, the yard sale, or sex. It wouldn't matter. It is all art form of how you put it together and how you give yourself permission to put it together. If we were all walking around looking alike, which is happening a lot now, it trust me. It just pains me. It does. Everybody looking the same, right? And we calling it cute. The more sameness we can get. What I actually see fear. I actually see fear from not wanting to be different, or fear of being seen, or fear of being complimented or noticed, right? I'm seeing fear of stepping outside and going against the grain. That's what I see. And maybe it is fear deep down inside. But here's the thing that I want you to consider. God didn't create us. Our creator did not create us all alike. We each have different number of strands of hair on our head, different fingerprints. So how in the world, how in the world would it be so that we're all walking around looking exactly the same? So it's you giving yourself permission to be fully expressively you. Let's talk about the energetics of getting dressed, as it should be a full on experience, as we talk about more of being in soft life and also just romanticizing and glamorizing as much as you can. Getting dressed, especially for women, is a very lovely and easy way to enhance more into romanticizing your life. I want you to think about silhouettes. And if you're saying, hey, I have a hard day today, there's a lot of things on my to-do list, I want you to consider your outer supporting your inner. So if you have a hard day, that might look like flow, right? It might look like something that is not going to be form-fitting, maybe a loose, brightly colored dress, the looseness for the flow so that you can gallivant in ease, right? And so that's more about putting yourself into a place of how you want your day to support you, right? And what we are wearing on our bodies is a form of doing that. Also, the color story. Color theory has such immense impact on our mental health. If you're feeling drab, it's probably a really good idea to resist the blacks and grays and just practice inching your way to a brighter color. And it might look like going from black to blue, or it might look like going from gray to brown, or from a dark blue to a green, right? But inching your way, not in the form of perfection, but just as a practice of, hey, I can do this. I can inch closer to how I want to feel. And you will be absolutely amazed of two things: how that power of color ends up turning your mood around just by walking by a mirror and getting a glimpse of yourself and seeing a different next level version of you. Yeah, right? But also how it has the power to give other people inspiration around you. Oh my goodness, you're normally wearing black, which tends to put us in a very serious mood. But just for our example today, if we wanted to feel lighter and brighter, then sometimes it starts on the outside. And when it starts from the outside, it has beautiful trickle-in effects that affect and permanently change the inside as well. So when you do that, not only does it motivate you and inspire you, but it also gives everyone just a little bit of light, just a little bit of joy and happiness for everyone that you have the opportunity to come in contact with around you, which is a gift. So we touched on purging. We're going to get more into that, not just for what it is, but today is all about curating your style outside, but also intrinsically. I want you to consider your purging a form of evolution, okay? Little food for thought. Letting go of pieces from the past is actually a really good way of healing. Yeah. hmm So it represents letting go of the past version of you and calling in that healed era, that next level, that next chapter of you. You clearing out all of the old so that you can make room and make space, even if you don't know what it is, even if you don't know what's coming, because we never do, but you got to be prepared, right? We got to know when to let go. Holding on to things, style, clothes, old shoes that no longer serve us, that we are not thinking about or not touching. It's also reminiscent of the psychological concern of holding on to things and not being able to let go. So a really beautiful way of practicing that more in your life so that you can enter into the next healed era, the next version of yourself, whatever that looks like for you. A beautiful and easy, and oftentimes not easy, way of doing that is through letting go of the clothes. So, looking at the purging as a way of evolving, of a way of your style also evolving into who you're called to be. So, the question is, what would the higher version of myself wear today? Right? All growing up, I was in DECA in high school. Shout out if y'all was in DECA. Put a comment down below. Let me know. DECA was everything. Listen, I was so annoyed to go to that DECA class and to those DECA meetings, but it very much served me in my corporate career. I'm just telling you like it is. But there was a mantra in DECA that we had to dress up, and you had to wear your suits, and you had to wear all the dresses and all of those things. You had to be polished and put together. Not in a form of perfection, because that's not the topic at all, but also to dress like the next version of you so that you can be ready for it. You're preparing for it, but also you don't know when it's around the corner. It's also being prepared for you. But if you're not looking the part, and sadly, we live in a society where we all see the outer, we're in a 3D world, right? And we're seeing the outer first, before you get to open your mouth about how smart you are, before we know how many degrees or how many languages you speak or how many countries you've traveled to. Baby, all of those things are wonderful, right? But also allow not only here and here, not only the crown chakra and the throat chakra, those are wonderful, wonderful vices and mediums to be able to express who you are, but allow the outer to also give it permission, because we oftentimes, if we're too smart, we're too know it all. Sometimes we discount the ability to use the outer as art as well. And here's the next level of that. I want you to stop every morning when you want to feel more powerful, when you want to create the next version of your style, right? Reflecting a more audacious or more healed or more open or more curious version, whatever that looks like for you. I want you to ask yourself this one very powerful question. What would the highest version of me wear today? Yes. We know what the highest version of you wants to feel like and how you desire to feel. We talk about that all the time. But what would the highest version of you wear? You agreeing to push the limits is training yourself to push the limits in other areas of your life. This is just a teeny tiny practice. That's it. Share with you a very personal story. So I used to play like I was on HSN all the time. It's something that I created called the Sparkle Party. This was back in 2017 when Periscope was still around. I was live streaming, doing live selling back then. One of the first to do it and make it a big thing. And in my head, I was always just pretending. I was always calling forward, and that was my North Star. That was my example of what I should show up like on HSN. So what I did, I studied HSN, and I noted how the women in the hosts dress. They wore, when they were talking about accessories or handbags or scarves or things like that, they wore solid colors, right? To allow whatever it was that they were presenting to shine through first. Very bright, solid colors. And so, some years fast forward, I had the opportunity to have my own show on HSN. Also interviewed Whoopi Goldberg, Jay Leno, Isaac Mizrahi, Paula Abdul, right? All this from me just having a mindset of what would the highest version of me wear. So on my Sparkle Party, I dressed like they dressed on HSN. So much so that when it was time to go to HSN, I knew what to do because I was preparing and asking myself the exact question of what would the highest version of me wear today? And by you doing that, when it comes and when it's ready for you, when it's that season, you're ready for it. Without question, without fumble, without tiptoe, you are full 10 toes down, flat-footed and solid because you've been practicing. So, you know how we were talking about in the beginning, all of the negative self talk that just kind of cowers over what you really, really desire as it relates to your style and curating your look for life, your look for the day, right? Consider writing down some affirmations for yourself. And here's why. It is a form of creating a new neural pathway, and it is a form of rewiring your brain to think new thoughts. They're not just gonna go away. That negative self talk, oh, I look too fat, or I look too horrible, or I'm too this, too that, too skinny, too whatever it is, right? Those are all thoughts that have lived there for as long as they have lived there. And honestly, a lot of that starts, as we know, in childhood. However, we're frustrated that they're still lingering, but we've not done anything to combat them or to replace them. So, what has to happen is you've got to write a new story. You've got to think a new thought. It's not horrible that the old thought comes because, girl, they come, okay? But you want to be armed and have the tools to be able to combat that negative thought with a replacement thought so that you can reframe. And the more you do that, the more that you reframe those thoughts, you put yourself in a more empowered position to be able to glide easier into where it is that you're going. All right. And so write down some style affirmations. That could look like, I fully release anything that does not belong to me. I fully release anything that is holding me back. That could look like the purge of the clothes. That could look like the negative self-talk. That could look like the negative outside talk. I fully release it, right? Let's try another one. I am worthy of walking in with power. Mm, mm. I am worthy of walking in with power. Think about that mindset. Think about how that would differ from the choices, the style choices that we would be making. Girl, it's not just about the labels. Miss me with labels, right? It is very much about the mindset because anyone can wear anything, but what pulls it all together is your confidence and how you feel in it. And did you notice, dear darling, that when you feel amazing in whatever it is that it is, amazement tends to happen around you. And that's where all of the beautiful things are called into your life. And actually going deeper into releasing the things, let's talk about hustle energy. Yeah. So I named this podcast Grace Over Grind simply because I have been there and in a lot of times still operate in that place. But what I have to do often is pull myself out of the hustle and ask myself a number of questions. How can I make this activity more graceful? Right. And I want you to think about the same thing as it relates to you getting dressed. How can I take the hustle energy out of this thing? The hustle energy looks like lack of preparedness, right? It looks like maybe good and got daggone well. You ain't got nothing but whatever it is for this big day that you have or whatever it is that you want to feel like, and you give yourself 20 minutes, right? Maybe that looks like we prepare the night before so that we can pull ourselves, practice walking away from that hustle energy mentality. And it is deep, deep, deep in us because we have a belief that we have to hustle. We got to grind. And we do, but there is an intelligent, sustainable way of doing it. And one of the most beautiful ways of walking away from that hustle mentality is through preparation. Also, let's talk about textures and fabrics, right? Walking away from the hustle energy looks like finding joy in your materials. Maybe if we know that this is something we want to call forward, maybe this looks like I'm only going for natural fabrications in this next season. I'm not spending money on cheap thrills. I'm doubling down into investing into my healed era, into walking away from hustle energy, which can look like investing in a certain fabrication, investing in flow, loose, form-fitting, maybe sundresses for a season, I want to feel happy. Maybe that's, whatever that bright colors, whatever that looks like for you. But also consider your fabrications and the silhouettes as a way of walking away from that hustle energy mentality. Girl, because it's hard, honey. I know, especially as women. Sips tea, okay? Sips tea. But the more we practice, the more we show ourselves that it can be done. And here's the last food for thought for you as it relates to curating your style, your personal style. I want you to think about it as a form of self-respect. Yep. And I want you to detach the vanity of it. I want you to think about it as a form of self-respect and detach vanity. Think about this. Many of us have children. Many of us have daughters. We'll just take children, point blank. We actually count it as disrespectful when we see other children that are running around overall on an ongoing basis unkept, right? We kind of side-eye, we kind of look like, oh, that's neglect. Like, you know what I mean? Just raggedy. Yeah. We seen them kids not in a judgmental way, but we do make mental observation of that. And we never do that with our children out of respect for our children. And it's not for vanity. It's because we want to teach our children that it is important to put yourself together for you. And that mindset to adapt for this, the affirmation for this, the replacement belief is, I deserve beauty daily. Beauty is not set aside and separate for a special occasion, for a date, a person, and a job, or whatever. I deserve a form of beauty daily. And that doesn't mean going over the top every day, but it definitely can look like putting on that pair of earrings for your Zoom, right? Or practicing the next level of you and rocking that hot pink lipstick. Or teaching yourself something new and tying that head wrap that you just told yourself that you could never conquer. Conquer it. And it doesn't need to be for an occasion. You are the occasion. So that replacement belief is to know and start agreeing in your mind, in your spirituality, and in your body that I do deserve beauty daily, honey. And that mindset will take you so many gorgeous places. This was fun. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Let me know what you're practicing as it relates to your style curation in this season and what you would like to practice. Let me know your biggest takeaway from today's talk. And also be sure to subscribe, honey. Y'all be coming in, getting the gems, and don't be subscribed. I need your subscription. Okay? Thank you so much in advance. And be sure to like this video as well. Until next time, girl. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Grace Over Grind.